While Wanderer might have started as a brooding puppet with mommy issues and a hat that screams, "I'm the main villain," he's evolved into one of Genshin's most agile Anemo DPS powerhouses, zipping through the air like a leaf on steroids, dealing swirl-tastic damage that leaves enemies questioning their life choices. Whether you're using him to hypercarry through the abyss, or just want to flex that flying mechanic in open world, this guide will turn your Scaramouche into a wind-wielding menace who's as untouchable as he is unforgiving. Wanderer's normal attacks are your standard Catalyst fare, firing Anemo projectiles in a quick sequence that's great for building up his flight mode. His charged attack adds a homing twist for extra precision. The real star is his elemental skill, Hanega. Song of the Wind, which lifts him into the air, converts his normals into enhanced Kugoryoku attacks that scale with attack and crit, and drains stamina-like points over time, absorbing elements like Hydro, Pyro, Electro, or Cryo. During activation grants buffs like faster attacks or extra crit rate. It's his core on-field damage tool, making him feel like a mobile turret. His elemental burst, Kyugin. 5 ceremonial plays, unleashes a massive Anemo explosion in a compressed field, dealing huge AoE damage and restoring some flight points if it swirls an element, perfect for burst windows or resetting his hover state. Pump up Wanderer's normal attack talent first, since it's the backbone of his DPS in flight mode, turning those airborne slashes into your main damage dealer. Follow that with his elemental skill to boost the overall scaling and buffs from elemental absorption. Level his burst last. It's solid for AoE nukes, but not as central to his rotations as the other two. For Wanderer, the go-to set is 4-piece Desert Pavilion Chronicle, which ramps up his normal attack speed and damage after hitting with charged attacks, synergizing perfectly with his airborne playstyle for consistent Anemo output. Alternatives include 4-piece Viridescent Venerer, if you're leaning into swirl reactions or team support, or mixing 2-piece Desert Pavilion with 2-piece attack percent sets, like Shimenawa's Reminiscence for transitional builds. On main stats, prioritize attack percent on the sands to fuel his scalings, Anemo damage bonus on the goblet for that elemental punch, and crit rate or crit damage on the circlet depending on your weapon's substat. Aim for a 1-to-2 crit ratio overall. For substats, chase crit damage and crit rate to maximize those big numbers, followed by attack percent for base scaling, energy recharge to hit around 120 to 140% for smooth burst uptime, and a sprinkle of elemental mastery if you're swirling a lot in reaction teams. Wanderer's signature weapon, Tule Tula's Remembrance, is his absolute best in slot, stacking crit damage and boosting normal attack damage with infinite uptime in his flight state. It's like giving him a permanent espresso shot. For other 5 stars, Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds shines with crit rate and movement speed that fits his zippy style, while Skyward Atlas offers massive attack and elemental damage procs. Memory of Dust is a solid catalyst if you're shielding up, and Kagura's Verity works for crit stacking. On the 4-star side, the Widsith is a budget beast with random buffs that can spike his damage insanely. Solar Pearl provides crit rate and skill synergies, and Map of Mare is a craftable option that ramps up elemental damage after reactions, great for swirl-focused runs. Wanderer's classic hyper carry setup pairs him with Faruzan for Anemo resistance shred and buffs, Bennett for attack boosts and healing, and Zhongli for unbreakable shields that let Wanderer hover without interruptions. It's all about pumping his personal damage while keeping him safe in the skies. For a swirl reaction twist, swap Zhongli for Kazuha to group enemies and amplify elemental mastery, turning Wanderer into a reaction driver alongside Pyro, like Xiangling or Electro, like Fischl for Hyperblooms. If you're feeling fancy, try a double Anemo comp with Faruzan, Kazuha, and Bennett, where the grouping and buffs make Wanderer's flights even deadlier. Other flex picks include Yunjin for normal attack speed if you're low on Anemo supports, or Toma for shielding with some off-field pyro to enable vaporized swirls. Wanderer's adaptability means he can headline or support in most Anemo-friendly teams, and that's how you build Wanderer. The eternal Wanderer who's traded his villain arc for airborne dominance and crits that hit harder than his emotional baggage. Whether you're swirling through domains or soloing bosses with style, he's still one of the most satisfying DPS picks in Teyvat. Catch me live on Twitch for builds, pulls, and Wanderer-approved hat flips. Follow me on X for updates and hot takes, and don't forget to join the Discord to chat, theorycraft, and flex your artifacts. And hey, grab some clean merch at gachaking.store. By following this guide, you too can be a Gacha King. See you in the next one.